Hi, my name is Jane Frankland and you're watching Jane Frankland TV, and you are at the right place if you are a cybersecurity leader. So you might be an entrepreneur or a CISO or a practitioner, consultant or subject matter expert. And in today's episode, I'm going to be going through how you can attract more female speakers to your event. So today's question comes in from Tanya, and she writes, I realise I'm airing my own dirty laundry to admit how poor our diversity numbers are for OWASP Ottawa. But if we don't talk about the problem, how can we fix it? We have 3 out of 10 female organisers and a third of our leaders are female. But only me on the stage, so how can I attract more women to speak at my meetup? As far as I know, all the tech meetups in Ottawa have this problem. At our meetup, we have way more female attendees than any other tech meetups, but no female speakers. And it sucks. So, Tanya, I'm really glad that you have asked this question, and I can't wait to go through it with you because I have been asked, I get asked this all the time, and I see it being asked all over LinkedIn all of the time. So I'm going to give you some tips and strategies that you can apply in order to readdress. So before I do that, I really just want to take you back to my story and what it was like for me when I was first kind of starting out. So probably in about 2011 or 12, I had decided that I was actually going to step up and get to grips with speaking. And I was absolutely petrified to speak. I really would hyperventilate, the nerves would get the better of me. I would avoid it like the plague. And like most people, it was a huge fear. I think when it comes to public speaking, it is the second biggest fear aside from dying. Number one is dying. People are most frightened about that. But after that comes public speaking. So for me, that was how I was. But I knew that I had to step up and I knew I had to overcome it. I didn't know why. I didn't know I'd be doing all of this work, helping, coaching, training, working with lots of women, working with lots of leaders, entrepreneurs and CISOs. I didn't know I was going to be doing all of that at that stage, but I knew that I needed to get to grips with speaking. So I was doing a training course at the time, and the person who was leading it actually challenged me to speak at his next event. And I immediately said, well, in fact, before it, I actually confessed. I said, look, I'm frightened of speaking. And he said, right, in that case, you're coming to speak at my next event. And so I agreed to do that. And I literally practiced for about a month prior. So I created my presentation. I went through it every single day, multiple times a day to actually practice and learn it so that it would be really fluid. But the other thing that I did was I decided to kind of, first of all, change the way that I was talking about public speaking. So I decided to actually start talking about loving public speaking and really enjoying it. So you'll hear me at lots of talks or when I write in blogs saying that change begins in language. This is what I fundamentally believe. So change begins in language. So for me, I changed how I was talking about it. So I always said, I love public speaking. And whenever anybody asked me to speak, I would always immediately say, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. And then I would usually kind of panic and think, oh my God, what have I done? The second thing that I did after changing the way that I was talking about public speaking was I decided to visualize in my head how much I enjoyed it. I envisaged a stage and I envisaged lots of people at a conference and me walking up some steps to get onto the stage and everybody clapping and me being on that stage and me really enjoying being able to share my knowledge with the audience and how amazing that felt. And so I did this throughout that whole month, and then I continued to do that thereafter always accepting speaking gigs whenever anyone gave me that opportunity and saying thank you for giving me this opportunity, and then working really hard to actually perform, because when you speak, really, it is a performance. So that's how I prepared myself. Now, the other thing that I did was I actually decided to do this Wonder Woman pose. So you can see me here. I'm actually sitting here with my hands on my hips. And before the event, I got up to speak, I would stand there for a few minutes just in this Wonder Woman or Superwoman pose. Now, I've written about this in my book, and it actually changes not just your state, but it actually changes your hormones. So you actually become bigger and you get a rush, certainly for a woman, of testosterone, which really equips you to do what you got to do, which is something that is really requires, in some ways, quite a bit of courage. So I'm changing my state. I am standing up tall. My body is aligned, so I've got energy kind of flowing through it. And then literally all in my head, all I'm saying is, you are going to knock it out of the park. You are going to enjoy this. You are going to love it. You are going to be brilliant. They are going to love you. You are going to do such a good job, and you are going to enjoy this. So that's, and still to this day, that's what I usually do. So I find an area, it could be in the toilets, and I do this, or I look myself in the mirror in the toilets, you know, when I before speaking. And I say this, I have this ritual, and that's what I do. You are going to be brilliant. They are going to love you. You are going to give such good advice, and you are going to enjoy it along the way. So that's what I do as a speaker. And that when I actually begun to enjoy speaking, it was probably after about my 10th speaking event. So it took a while, and I remember it vividly. I had actually done 2 speaking events in one day. So I had done my first in the morning up at Blackpool, and I was on my way down because I'd committed to doing an event and I couldn't let them down. So I was on a train. The train was late. The train was stuck on the on the track. Didn't know if I was going to get there. So I was texting the event organizer saying, I'm really sorry, I'm stuck. You know, I'm on a track. I don't know if I'm going to get there to you in time. But I did. And when I walked on that stage, I was in a bit of a feisty mood. And it was at that event I actually begun to enjoy public speaking. And I love it now. I still have to do the Wonder Woman pose. I still have to get psyched up, just like any athlete would do or does when they are running an event or competing. You know, I get into a state and I get prepared for it. So I still do that, but I love it. So I encourage anyone, particularly women, who's thinking of speaking, who wants to do it, who just needs a push. You have to start somewhere. You really do. And practice makes perfect. So accept where you are and know that you will always get better, certainly with desire, and be attentive to your audience and ask for feedback and just keep going. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. You will get better and better and better. So I'm not going to go into the structure of a presentation or anything like that. I just wanted to deal with that first stage. And what I am going to do next is actually talk about what you can do as an event organizer, because that's what I committed to do at the start of this video. So as an event organizer, it is your responsibility to really make the female speakers feel safe. So a lot of the time, if women aren't putting themselves forward to speak, it's because they feel vulnerable, you know, and they are nervous, and it requires a lot of courage. And so think about what I said to you about how I was before, right at the start. I had actually made that commitment to speak, but a lot of women aren't necessarily at that stage. So I think the more that you can make them feel safe in the environment, the better that is. So take, for example, I'm going to refer to B-Sides. B-Sides have a rookie kind of platform that new speakers can go and take part in. So offering something like that could actually work quite well. offering a facility whereby they can come and practice, that you might do groups or something like that, come and practice speaking in front of a small group, and we are all there to support one another, and we'll all give feedback, and we'll all rah, and we'll champion each other. We've got your back. Put this across, make them feel safe, make them feel welcome, and make them or help them to realize that the world needs them and they have so much value that they can add, and that by stepping up to speak, they are going to be seen by more people and they are going to be seen by more women. So they're instantly paying it forward because they're becoming more visible. That encourages, more women to do the same. Now, interestingly, on that note, I remember attending an event and I listened to a speaker. It actually wasn't in our industry. It was actually another event. And this speaker wasn't particularly good. But the person who was sitting next to me, she said, I think I could do that. And it wasn't a criticism of, it was actually a him. It wasn't a criticism of him. But for her, she actually felt able to do that. So actually he was quite inspiring in some ways. And often that can be the case. Often you will have in your head, or one has in their head, the notion that everybody is a brilliant speaker. And believe me, the vast majority are not brilliant speakers. Speaking is a skill. It is a learned skill. You get better with practice, and you get better actually through training and learning the skill. So coming back to the point that I've just made, sometimes when female wannabes see that and know that, that can help them to feel safer, and it can encourage them to actually step up to move into speaking. Another point that I want to make is another great way to get female speakers actually to come on board is not to give them a speaking presentation. It's actually to get them on a panel. So that can be an easier way. And what I often do is when I have female speakers that are reluctant to speak, but I know who can add huge value and who are actually ready to speak, I say, you're coming with me, I'm taking you, and you're going to do the next one. And it is going to be on a panel. So that introduces them to the whole being on stage. So I hope that's helped. If it has, please leave me a comment. So add to this video. If you are enjoying it, please give me a thumbs up, share it, and then get yourself over to Insecurity, which is where all the fun is happening. That's my network. So there's an awful lot that goes on there. Lots of support, lots of confidence building, lots of tips and strategies and things like that. So much more than you're actually getting here. So come and be part of that. Come and join. And I hope to see you really soon. Thanks. Bye. Whatever you do, if you're speaking, do not read like this. Only politicians do that. And I did it once. I did it recently, actually, just to find out what it would be like. But please don't do that. Do not read. It is so boring. It is so non-engaging. Please, no. No reading presentations. I don't care if you're the best orator in the world. No speaking politicians. No, 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 no. No. Just nice presentations, nice pictures, maybe a few bullet points, but learn the presentation and then knock it out of the park. Ciao.